Welcome, SATS geniuses, to question number 17. And this is an algebra question, but there's no reason to panic. We just have to do a little bit of trial and error to see if we can find our answers. We haven't got to be frightened of writing things down. You don't have to get an answer straight away in your head. You can experiment a little bit. So x and y are whole numbers less than 10. X plus 2 lots of y has got to equal 20, and it's saying what could x and y be? Well, the first thing to realise is that actually x cannot be an odd number, because watch what happens. So if x was 1, that would leave 19 left to split between the two y. So y, if you split 19 left in half, that would be 9.5. So it would be 1 plus 2 lots of 9.5. Well, it does say that it has to be a whole number, so we can't have 9.5. If x was 3, then that would leave 17 left. And if you split 17 into half, that would be 8.5. So that would be 2 lots of 8.5. And again, 8.5 is not a whole number. If x was 5, that would leave 15 left, because 5 plus 15 makes 20. So 2y would have to be with 15. So 1y would have to be with 7.5. And again, 7.5 is not a whole number. Now you could continue this, but by now you should realise that if you make x an odd number, then y is going to end up as something 0.5. And that can't happen because it's got to be a whole number. So it seems to be that x cannot be odd. So it's actually worth writing that down. So x can't be odd. Now that starts to focus our brain a little bit, so x must actually be even. So let's just jot down a few examples of what x could be, because there is more than one right answer here. X could be 2. Now if you knock off the 2 from 20, that would leave 18 left. And the 18 left, I'll just write that at the side, would have to be split between 2y, because 2y has got to make 18. So y would have to be 9. So it would be x plus 2 lots of 9, and that would make 20. So x could be 2 and y could be 9. 2 plus 2 lots of 9 does actually equal 20. But that's not the only answer. X could be 4. Now that would leave 16 left. And the 16 split equally would be 2 lots of 8. So we could have x being worth 4 and y being worth 8. There's even other answers to this. X could be 6. And if you knock 6 off 20, that leaves you with 14 left. And the 14 would have to be 2 lots of 7. So x could be 6 and y could be 7. There are other answers. We could have x being 8. And if you knock 8 off 20, that leaves you with 12 left. And the 12 split equally would be 2 lots of 6. So you could have x being 8 and y being 6. You could keep going in the same way. There are other answers. So if x was 10, that would leave 10 left, which would be 2 lots of 5. So x could be 10 and y could be 5. You could keep going again, even further. X could be 12, and that would leave you with 8 left. So that would be 2 lots of 4. So x could be 12 and y could be 4. Now, we've already demonstrated that there's lots of different answers here. You could also have x being 14, which would leave 6 left, so that would be 2 lots of 3 for y. X would be 14, y could be 3. You could have x being 16, which would leave 4 left, so you would need 2 lots of 2. So x is 16, y is 2. You could have x is 18, which would leave 2 left, and therefore y would have to be 1. Now I don't think they would allow you x to be 20, because that would leave nothing left. And so y would have to be 0, and I think they really want x and y to be whole numbers, which are positive whole numbers. Okay, so 0 wouldn't actually count, but any of these answers here would count. Any of these pairs of numbers would be okay.